through your mind?
Leon, I can't answer that. I don't know what went through my mind. You know, I'm in disbelief.
Mm.
He said, your brother has died. And that's what he said, and that was it. And so we didn't go into how or why or whatever. But that was it. So it's not a matter of, you know, what did I believe or what did I feel? No, it was shock and awe and disbelief and so on. But anyway, then we went to Franklin for the service, and I always remember looking back. Uh, Nobody, I guess in those days, you know, nobody said anything. So none of us in the family said anything about Leon. Uh, but anyway, they had the service, and he was buried in a new plot. Now again, the graveyard was segregated, so blacks were over there, and the whites over here. But Leon, since he'd been in the service, the army, he was buried in this new plot. So he integrated, he integrated the cemetery, and that was it. So those are my memories of Leon.
Okay. Do you have any other questions that come to your mind, Joe?
Um, you almost touched upon it, but you always talked about the memory of when one of you called grandma, and it was, you almost said it, but, you know, well, Leon has died, but, you know, I'd rather you say it. Well, okay, basically what you always said was that, well, yeah, Leon has died, but you mean the baby.
Yeah, I said that. They said
You didn't say it exactly.
She
You
said,
got almost all the way
I
there.
said, you mean the baby died? And he said, no, your son.
Okay. As a matter of fact, from what I always heard, my mother actually is the one that called from the hospital,
Mhm.
and she said, "Mom, I've got some bad news for you. Leon has died." And she said, "Oh, the baby. I never even got to see him." And then she said, "No, Mom, you're Leon." Because I remember Grandma
Right.
sharing that with me. Do you remember the stories? Because there were some stories where some of the family members said that other people in Franklin said they saw Leon walking along the canal the day he had died. He had come home to visit.
No.
Okay. Or do you remember hearing about the clock that broke on the mantle that day?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know anything about it.
Okay. Because those
About
are some of
that.
the stories that Grandma mentioned, and I guess it was Aunt Mary. Okay. So we'll move on to Uncle James.
Well,
Start off with my brother, Uncle James, and then just talk about.
okay, my brother, Uncle James, he was 5 years older than I was, and I said he and Leon, both of them, each one that would, you know, fight me, and then the other one would join in against the other one and protect me. But no, I think I remember James. Now, when I went to the elementary school, I mean, going from the elementary school in the 6th grade to junior high, 7th grade, and by that time James was a senior. And so again, I didn't really see him in class or anything, but he was a great track star. And they gave him the name Flash. They called him Flash. And when I would go out to see him run, and they would say, "Oh, he's going to win." And I was so afraid. I said, "No, I don't think he's going to win." I was so afraid that he wouldn't, but he would always win. And so they called him Flash. And I told you about he and his friend Jay being in the play,
Oh
where,
yeah,
where
that's the
he
horse.
was the horse. And then he graduated, and that's when he went off to join Leon in the 3C camp. And the two of them, see, Leon was the pace setters. And James followed, and so we all followed from Leon. So Leon and James were always together. 'Cause they were a year apart in age. So during that particular period, I didn't see much of them. I only saw them when I went to Washington when I was 15 or 14, 15. And so that was pretty much it. And then when Leon died, I went to New York, to the Bronx with James. That's when James and I spent a year in the Bronx. And in the village, and James was doing readings and so on, even then. And so we were down in the village, and so spent a year in the Bronx, and that's when we went from there to Prairie View. Now, jumping ahead, after Prairie View in California and all that, and James was teaching in these black colleges. And again, he had a plan, because we were at Prairie View there in Texas, then the school coming here, then to Hampton, then to Morgan. So he's getting closer and closer. And that's when he started working on finishing his PhD while he was teaching at Morgan. And I got my PhD before he did, but he and Mama and Uncle James and James, they came. Adrian was there. He was there. And so after that, let's see. After that, he went to, when he got his PhD from New York University, and he had been promised a job in Ghana. And I was passing through Ghana, and I saw this professor from this department, and I said, "Hey, what about my brother? You said that you're going to give him a job." He said, "Oh, yes, we are." So James got this job teaching at the University of Legon in Ghana, and he was teaching there, and and he was teaching there, and I was in Sierra Leone, and he and Janie and Sheila, Terry, I don't know what but anyway, they came to visit us in Sierra Leone. And
That's something. Two Kennedy brothers, both teaching in Africa.
Right. Well, no, I wasn't teaching. I was a Peace Corps director. He was teaching. And then, then I have to back up a bit, because James, he got this job in Ghana, and Mama came to visited him, and then James, he was into his performing and acting, and Janie was with him, and so every summer then, James would go to Kenya. So at this time, Lillian was at the university, setting up the university in Kenya. So every summer, James would go there, and then he started getting dementia, and so one day, I guess it was Lillian said, "Well, I'm bringing him home. I have to bring him home, because he's out on the street. He's getting lost and doesn't know his way back, and so on." And so Lillian accompanied him back to the United States, and that was pretty much it. And then he got sick, and as you know, he went into the hospital and was laid up for well, really for the rest of his life.
Mhm.
Right.
All right. What, as an older brother throughout the years, formative years, whatever, what did he impart into you?
Well, see, you asked those questions. I don't know what he imparted. I don't know. I don't know. I'm saying there was something about him and Leon and the whole family that imparted that thing about moving ahead. You can, don't be overtaken. You can accomplish. Now that was what was imparted from all of them. So not just James or your brother Leon, your father Leon, but all of them. You can, you know, and as I said, I didn't plan to, I didn't plan to have an organization called AfriCare. I didn't plan to go to Peace Corps. I didn't plan to, I always wanted to go to Africa, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. But I always had hope and belief that you could do this. And that is something that came from each one, each member of the family, handed down, especially from Mama and Daddy. That's it.
All right. Let's move on to Lillian now. Your memories of Lillian. First of all, as you're growing up, because she's an older sister, right?
Yeah, as growing up, and one of the first things I remember about Lillian